Thank you, my friend. Welcome. Good to have you. My name is Michael. Welcome to the Healing Momentum live stream. And today we're going to talk about the number one rule to creating good energy in your communication. And, that we're talking about communication in your personal relationships and in work relationships. Really, we're communicating all the time. It's such a vital aspect of our humanity is communication. And so I come to you with this channel and all of our offerings to focus on the concepts and practice of mirroring, and an art of healing, a practice of good sending and good receiving that allows us to move energy, emotional energy, up the scale out of frustration into awareness, out of withdrawal into calm, out of anger into forgiveness, into relief, and into really using these tools in a way that connect us very deeply to ourselves and allow us to be very conscious and aware and to get the best and maximize what's possible in our communication with the important people in our lives through the practice of mirroring. So I'm glad that you're here. And if you looked at my last video, uh, that video, the regular, a 5 minute long video, not a live stream, that was focused on the idea of mindfulness. So let's just go back to that and go ahead and watch that video. It's only about 5 minutes long. I think the title is something like How to Experience Mindfulness in Your Communication Right Now. So mindfulness is really awareness. Mindfulness, we're talking about. So if you think from the standpoint of mirroring, mirroring is in its essence being aware of good sending. Let's do it with this hand of good sending and good receiving. Now I'm putting my hands up so you can imagine this construct that right now I'm sending and you're receiving. And just the awareness of that we don't have to just disappear into this talking heads on the screen and and oh, it's another personal growth thing and all the chatter that might be there. No, what we're doing right now is becoming aware. Oh, Michael's the one sending, so he's offering the message to me and I'm the one receiving. So that gives you a little bit of leeway in anything your mind would do. Why? Because we're being called into a level of awareness. We're being asked to notice, oh, okay, we're not just talking, we're not just watching a video, we're engaging, we're in a practice. And so the simple noticing to start, the awareness of, oh, as the viewer, you are now receiving, and myself creating the video and offering it to you, I'm sending. Our roles are clear and we both get to relax into those roles. So, as sender, you are receiver. I can notice that. I can find peace about that. And in so doing, that awareness is creating a field of mindfulness. Mirror this back, meaning say this back to me as what I offer this affirmation, mirror it back out loud. I am noticing right now that I am the receiver in this conversation. Mirror that back. I don't have to do anything other than receive. Mirror that. So simply the noticing the fact that you are receiving and that I am sending, that consciousness is mindfulness. And mindfulness, the awareness, the allowing, the witnessing, the yielding, the receiving, the awareness of what's going on here right now in our focus, in the dynamics, emotionally, What am I here for? All of those things, just the awareness of the moment of what's going on in the dynamic breeds a sense of mindfulness. And that mindfulness, that awareness, creates a feeling of sympathy, creates a sense of I'm here, my partner is also here, we are both okay, we are both allowed to be who we are. That awareness of right now I could relax into receiving, the awareness of that I am Michael is the one sending right now. That creates that sense of, oh, I'm here, I'm present, I'm here, and this is what's going on. And I could be at peace with that. That's mindfulness happening. And when we get to that state of mindfulness, which is what we're trying to achieve with mirroring, with all our partners in the moment, not just here in this practice, but out there in your out there in your real lives, when we achieve that state of mindfulness, that allows for feelings to move up the scale and enter a state of sympathy, a state of calm, a state of healing. That sympathy is a healing experience. So you could create this state of sympathy in all your relationships in every moment. It's not about saving people. It's not about becoming a therapist. It's just about practice and the awareness in the moment. And you have it in you to create an experience of sympathy in every interaction that you have, so that you could be a beacon of healing everywhere you go. So go back to that other video and check that out, because that will help you, have a moment of mindfulness through interacting with me with mirroring. So right now, the number one rule that we want to focus on, and that rule, I'm going to stay connected to sending in the case of this rule. The number one rule that we want to focus on in our sending is the idea that we can send fully, express ourselves fully, while being aware of how our send is landing on our partner. Now, notice I'm pointing there as if there's a partner. You're my partner right now. So I could look at myself and I could wonder, how am I landing on my partner? Most important thing. You think about, like, let's say we get into a situation and, a sticky situation, a difficult personal situation, a messy personal situation, a situation that's so messy that we don't even want to show awareness about the situation, that we would rather bury our heads in the sand than engage in the situation. Well, say it comes to a point where you really need to express something about your situation in the situation. Maybe it's a relationship, a breakup, something ugly. Okay. Well, okay. I'm tired of it. I can't stand what's going on. I want to talk to this person and work it out. Maybe that's a good idea. It could be. But when you focus on this number one rule, how am I landing on my partner? You want to ask yourself that question first. Before you engage with your partner, you want to be thinking about, how am I going to land on you? Now, this isn't about people pleasing. Oh, I want to say this thing where I'm careful, or I want to say this thing where I'm trying to get what I want, or I'm trying to say something that sounds like I'm manipulating, or say something where I'm just like bursting out and I need to just get it all out at once. These are good thoughts to be aware that we can be like that. But what we're looking for is a sense of harmony, is a sense of connection. How am I landing? I want to land on you. So just thinking about from the standpoint of that difficult situation, we're in something sticky and difficult. And I think, oh, I really need to express myself. And maybe you do. But perhaps your partner is overloaded. Or perhaps your partner has very deep resentment. Maybe that resentment is about you, whether you like it or not. Or maybe that partner was wounded as a child, which leads them to have behaviors and tendencies that are out of control or that don't show consciousness. Well, yeah, you might be ready. I need to talk. I got to get this all out of my system. I need to chat with you. I need to get this out. I need to be told. I mean, I need to speak. But your partner may not be available. So if your partner is not available, now you're really showing awareness. Okay, this is a whole different thing. I'm not just playing my own instrument. I'm in a band and I'm in a duo or a trio or however many people are involved. And now I'm a little bit more aware. If I send this intense, I've got to say it, I'm bursting out loud, and you're not ready for it, or you're in resentment, or you're in a totally different situation, or I have no idea what you have going on, then what I have to say might seem innocent in me, but then to the partner, it might land as explosive. That's not what I want. What I have to say may feel clean in me, but to the partner, it's going to go into them, into their resentment. That's not what I want. It's going to make them, I don't know how it's going to land right now. I don't want that either. I want a kind of a consciousness. It's not about being able to predict every single situation. It's about being aware. So I'm not just, hey, I need to say this, I need to say this. A simple, are you available to hear something about this difficult topic? That changes the whole dynamics. That shows a kind of an awareness of, I want to land well. That this isn't just about me, it's about us. That even though I'm the one wanting to send, I'm aware that you're receiving, and I'm showing awareness. How? By asking permission. Are you available? Are you ready? This is super important because a lot of us wind up in situations where we get closed inside ourselves and we get stuck and not knowing what to do. And then we get stuck into places of self-doubt, or we get stuck into places of questioning or getting down on ourselves or getting frustrated. And yes, we do need to communicate, or yes, we need to get something out on the table. But without that consciousness, without asking first, how do I want to land on my partner? Then we could be creating a mess. And not only that, we might be making things way worse for ourselves in spite of those perhaps innocent desire to make things better. How am I landing on my partner? So I'll ask you, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this as a recording, how am I landing? I'm sending. So if I ask myself that question, how do I want to land on my partner, you being my partner? Well, I want to land as somebody who cares. I want to land as somebody who has some level of expertise about mirroring. I want to land as someone who wants to help. I want to land as somebody who brings the energy up the scale into knowing, into healing. I want to land as somebody who is conscious, who has a mission to help, who's clean and prepared and ready and professional. I want to land as that you're important. I want to land in a way where what I say is not coming down from I'm the teacher and I'm the master and you're the student and you're the follower. No, you're important. This is a collaboration that's happening here between me and you. So I want to land in a way where I can tell myself I'm helping, I'm giving from my expertise, and I'm concerned about the kind of things that are happening for the people that are watching and for the people that I'm working with and the people that I'm meant to work with. I want to land as someone who is trying to create a mutual sense of sympathy between the two of us. I want to land in a way where I'm getting the frustrations that you may be going through in your relationships and inside you. See, all of this comes back to, even though we're focused on sending, even though we're focused on being aware of someone we talk to, of our lover, our girlfriend, our husband, wife, son, daughter, boss, client, any of these important relationships, or somebody walks out of a store and the door swings open, we have to get out of the way, somebody we'll never see before, but that's still a live moment. And when we sit with an ongoing practice of awareness, then not only are we working with those moments that are happening with all these different dance partners in communication in our life and our work, that we're engaging in the energy, that we're investing in the energy, that we are creating better energy, and that we know that simply working on these kinds of tools moves emotional energy up the scale and creates this sense of sympathy, healing, and growth, even in the tiniest moment. But what we're also doing is healing our lives. What we're also doing is, by this consciousness, by this practice, by the showing of awareness, what we're doing is working out our own stuff on the inside. So I could say for myself, coming from a very traumatized background, having a very complex insides, diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder because of what I experienced as a child and the way that I go through now. When I show awareness of how am I landing on you, then that allows me to organize what's happening on the inside. So let's say I got into a moment recently in a professional situation that I didn't like at all. And I didn't feel like I had control of that situation. And then I got triggered, and all this PTSD energy, sense of dysregulation, out of control, feeling of body is flooded, feeling like a scared child in a very adult moment. Are there any people out there who get that kind of stuff going on? I bet you do. People who have ADHD and they can't get their thoughts right and they can't show up on time and everything is kind of like a chaos until they're getting ready, and then they're so, and I'm generalizing, but this is my been experience about what I've had with people who have ADHD, that they're so in their stuff that it's hard for them to show awareness of how they're landing on their partner because the ADHD is so consuming of what's going on inside their head. So with this question, how am I landing on my partner? Like, what's going on with you before I send? What's going on with you? That's not just about working with the partner, and that's not just about, working with difficult people. That's about what's happening on the inside of ourselves. That's creating a healing on the inside of ourselves. So if I go back to that situation, that professional moment, again, very uncomfortable professional moment that I didn't like and I didn't feel I had control over, and it was very painful. But in that moment, I looked at my partner and I said, how do I want to land here? And I go, this is an important moment. This is an important moment. Do I want to say something? Do I not want to say something? How will I land? I'm realizing my partner doesn't want me to land. How am I landing on my partner? I'm triggering my partner. I'm upsetting my partner. And again, this invokes more and more layers of consciousness. I'm triggering my partner. That's what I got to through that consciousness, through that awareness, through that checking in before I said anything. Well, does that mean that I'm bad? I guess you could say that. But really, what we're trying to do is understand the dynamics that are happening with these different people and how it leads to certain kinds of emotional chemistry. So in that moment when I realized if I say anything, I'm going to trigger my partner. I'm going to make my partner more upset. I'm going to contain. So before I said anything, I realized, how am I going to land on my partner? It doesn't matter about me. It's not me. It's the partner. It's not that something's wrong with me that I'm going to make them upset. It's where the dominant field of emotion is in that partner. It's understanding where that partner is coming from. If I speak right now, or if I say something, or if I fight, or if I raise my voice, or if I speak from that triggered PTSD place, that's just going to upset my partner. So in that moment, I contained. What do I mean by contained? I validated what I had to say was important. I told myself I'm upset, but that doesn't mean that I'm bad. I told myself that what's coming at me is that person's stuff and not mine. Now I'm upset by it, and all my stuff is raised on the inside, but it has all to do with him and not me. I'm not at fault here. This has to do with my partner. Again, look at all these things that I could become aware of, and quickly, and in the moment through practice. That's why these kinds of practices are so important. So in that moment, then I came away from, in the moment, I realized through that awareness, how am I going to land? How am I landing? I'm just upsetting this person. And that has to do with them and not me. So I'm going to contain. I'm going to keep myself quiet. I'm going to hold on to myself. I'm going to validate my feelings are important. I'm going to make sense of the moment. This is about this person and not about me. Just because I'm landing on the person in a way that upsets them doesn't mean that I am an upsetting person. It has to do with them. So once that moment passed and I felt a little bit grounded and I understood what was going on, and because of my discipline in that moment, I gained a little bit more resources within. Then I did say something that I wanted to say. How am I landing? I want to land in a way where I feel good about myself. I want to land in a way where I come away from this feeling self-expressed. And that came to me how? It came to me how? Because I asked that question. How am I landing on my partner? And at first it said contain, and that shifted the energy. And when the energy was shifting and there was a little tiny bit of sympathy, then I said one thing that I needed to say, and then I got out. And out of that situation, it wasn't a mess. It was clean. It was intense. It was hurtful, but it was clean. And I came out of it clean with myself because I did not add to the mess. I did not create more mess. I did not betray myself. I did not speak from a hurt child place. I spoke from the adult place, and I only spoke from the adult place after the realization, oh, I have options. I can contain. Why do I want to contain? Keep myself feeling not smaller, like I'm shrinking and betraying myself, smaller, like I am what I am, but sort of like Ant-Man. I'm making a smaller version of myself here, filled with all the feelings that I have, just making myself quieter and smaller in this moment. And I got to that by asking, how am I landing on the partner? And once I did that, that created more energy. How's this landing on you? I hope you're getting some benefit from this, and I hope this is giving you some awareness and some thoughts to think about the important relationships in your life. Maybe, maybe you're a parent and you want to look at that dynamic and begin to realize, how am I landing on my child? Am I being too forceful? Am I landing as manipulative? Am I landing as unloving? I don't know. Maybe I have a certain way of expressing, and I'm not getting how my child is interpreting the way that I naturally express. Something that might seem simple to the child is going to wind up making it complicated for them on the inside. Again, we're not trying to blame ourselves. We're trying to create an environment of mindfulness, noticing, of questioning, of observing, of receiving, of moving energy and realizing that we have a way to move energy in all of our situations by our choices. And when we sit with, hey, you are important to me, and I want to make sure that what I say is important, but I want to be conscious of how it lands as best as possible. That gives us a lot of power. It gives us power externally, and it gives us clarity and grounding internally. It creates a healing of those places within us where things feel out of control. It gives us a sense of more healing and clarity and being right with ourselves because of the mindfulness that we're creating with our partners. And if we have a good partner, somebody that we have some level of trust with, we can ask them, how did that land on you? We're going to get a lot of information because we're showing them you're important, and I want to know how our interaction is, and I want to get a sense of what's happening with you about me. And when we have that, then it allows us to be more musical, to have a wider variety of positive energies to choose from in all of our interactions because of that mindfulness. So let's practice a little bit of mirroring, and then we'll close up this live stream for today. So how about this? So mirror back to me, meaning I'm going to offer you some affirmations and you just say them back. Don't change them at all. Just say them as if they're coming from you. There's a lot I can learn from this. Mirror that back. This isn't about people pleasing or betraying myself. This is about consciousness. This is about awareness. By asking, how am I landing on you? Mirror that. I open the doors to more awareness. I improve the energy between me and my partner. And I create a feeling of sympathy towards myself. These are all good things to learn. Mirror that back. Excellent, my friend. Terrific. Terrific. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for interacting with me, and thank you for listening and practicing with this work. I'm going to let you know if you have more interest in going further with this work. You'll see in the description there are some things you can do. Obviously, watch the other videos, like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch the other videos on the channel, which is great. Be a part of this. I'm going to be putting stuff out again. Took a little bit of a year-long break, but now I kind of understand what's going on, and I'm coming back to this committed to give you guys good work. For those of you in the Humboldt County area, I'm going to be giving workshops. There's one that's coming up over here at Moonrise Herbs at near the Arcata Plaza on March 3rd, called The Power of Mirroring. And some of you might want to try more. So if you're interested in doing more, hey, try a session with me. An intro session is half an hour. The fee is flexible, and you'll see there's a link to that in the description that you just go look at the intro session page on my website, and there'll be a place to send me a message with your inquiry, and I'll get back to you and we'll set something up. And that would be for a Zoom, a half-hour introductory coaching session with me in a way that's, again, sliding scale and allows you to get a sense of doing this work for yourself in a way that's very healing to help you on the inside and to help you with your relationships on the outside. And something else that you could do Here is the book that I wrote that's out, The Zen of Solo Travel, A Journey from Anxiety to Enlightenment. This is a powerful book about a trip that I took to Japan when I was in my 30s and was questioning a lot of things about my life, identity, the threshold of marriage, divorce, fatherhood, not fatherhood, madness, sanity, all of that, that I took this very brief but very powerful trip to Japan and came back and wrote this book about it. And one of the great things about it is that I discovered mirroring from what could be called a spiritual experience that I had at a Zen rock garden in Kyoto, Japan. And all of that is here in this very funny, insightful, powerful, fast-moving, deep book, The Zen of Solo Travel, A Journey from Anxiety to Enlightenment. So there's a link to that in the description. And again, there's a link to the form that allows you to reach me and inquire about coaching. So I hope you learned something from today. I hope this landed well. And thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for being here. Have a great day. Thank you, my friend.